Jack.
Levi.
The Book Club from Hell.
Hello everyone, this is Jack with the Book Club from Hell, a mendicant order of the Catholic Church whose members beg for alms over Patreon. We at the Book Club from Hell are all about practicality and actionable insights. Given the growing contemporary interest in witch hunting, we had no choice but to read the subject of today's episode, the Malleus Maleficarum, translated as The Hammer of Witches. Written by two Catholic Inquisitors and published in 1486, Malleus Maleficarum details why witches definitely exist and why not wishing to burn them to death is heretical, the sorts of bad things witches can do to you, most of which seem to involve preventing erections, how to identify witches, and, most importantly, how to conduct an investigation into suspected witches, which will always result in conviction and a speedy execution. Given that I am a member of the Book Club from Hell Mendicant Order, it is only fitting that I remind you that we have a Patreon, whose link is in the show description. Every dollar you give is one witch burned. So, enjoy. The positive associations I have with death metal I transferred onto this book completely unreasonably.
Yeah, completely unreasonably.
So boring. It reminded me
This
why
book
I
is
don't
not metal.
like scholastic philosophy much.
No, it's it's complete trash.
It's really dry. It plays at being highly rigorous, but he's just so inconsistent. Or the two authors are so inconsistent in their arguments, in how they number things, even in tiny things of how he'll say, "Oh, okay, well, I've got 7 reasons as to why, I don't know, for example, demons through midwives like to have unbaptized babies killed and a paste made from their ground bones. Yeah, here are 7 reasons why that happens." And then he'll give you like 5 reasons. Except he'll number the reasons like 1, 2, 3, 6, 7 or something like that. It's just so irritating.
Did you know that it had 28 editions over the course of like 100 years?
It's that good.
Am I mistaken? That's what I read when I was doing some background research. Yeah, it's like over more than 100 years, had like dozens of editions. And
people love this book.
I think it was actually quite influential. Although it's contentious.
This is an even more influential book than Prince Harry's autobiography.
Wow.
Which is amazing. Yeah, I know. That's incredible. I reckon though his autobiography
Prince.
I mean, when
Harry's
was this?
book,
This was written in
Hammer
this was
of
published in
Witches.
1486. The Hammer of the Witches. I reckon in about 500 years though, people will look back on what was the name of that fucking autobiography called? It was just
Stupid
like
book.
it was such a the world's
Prince.
smallest violin playing just for you kind of title. It was like passed over or skipped or I can't remember. It was way. I'm not going to.
Was it called Spare? Is that the one you're
Spare?
thinking?
That's it.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah,
How do you
Spare will
manage
probably
to
be
complain
similarly
for 500
influential
pages
as.
when you're a prince? Like seriously.
That guy's such a little bitch.
And he probably made
That's
so
my
much money
Australian
off that book
Republican analysis of a member of the British royal family. He's a little bitch.
as well. He's a little bitch.
Another reason why Australia should be a republic.
Yeah.
Anyway,
no,
we were talking about
this was
witches,
probably the most. No, it was pretty brutal. It's up there. It's pretty rough.
Yeah, this was not an easy book. It's also, I got it into my head that it wasn't that long, and then the edition I got was almost
stupidly
700
long.
pages.
Yeah, if you
was
got the
so
edition with
long.
that giant preamble at the beginning and stuff.
I ended up reading most of the preamble because I skipped it when I started reading the book because I thought I'm not reading that much. When I'd finished the book, I started reading the preamble and it's actually really good. So the translator and the guy who wrote the preamble is Christopher S. Mackey, and he offered really, really good footnotes contextualizing some things, and the preamble was really helpful in further situating this text. It was the best part of the book. The best part of the book was the bit that Jacob Sprenger and Henricus Instatorus didn't write.
So
The context of the book is really funny though, because it's reputed to be this witch hunting manual from the inquisitorial Middle Ages,
in like
and it's
Germany,
sort of
right?
that.
Or Bavaria or something.
Yeah, Germany and Switzerland, but
Yeah.
apparently it was quite popular among lay people, but not in the church. The church fairly quickly came out and said, no, this is not really representative of what
This is
we're
not
about.
kosher, so to speak.
The Catholic Church didn't like it much. Because
Saying a lot for
They
the
apparently
Catholic
just keep
Church in
getting
the
stuff wrong.
1400s to come out and be like, nah, we're not,
this is a bit
we're
much.
not down
So
with this.
a lot of this book is
Cancel Heinrich.
fairly anti-women.
Oh, yeah.
Fairly anti-women, fairly misogynistic. And the medieval Catholic Church is not an organisation known for the championing of women's rights. However, even they took a look at this book and went, oh, that's a bit much. Maybe we should dial this back a bit. There are several parts of this. So the authors of this book regularly quote from other sources. So people interested in, I don't know, Catholic law, I guess. Because Catholics, at least medieval Catholics, just autistically wrote out massive lists trying to make laws for everything possible, including extensive laws on witchcraft. And the authors in this book...
Can we elucidate every possible situation under which there might be witchcraft?
It's just the brute force approach to making
Just imagine
laws.
how many untold hours of human labor was expended by medieval Europeans on outlining laws around witchcraft. Just ridiculous.
Yeah.
They could have been, you know, like
Writing the Bitcoin white paper
yeah.
in the 15th century. Listen, mate, we can't do it yet, but man, when that NVIDIA 4090 comes out, then you fucking bet we're going to be mining Bitcoin.
What? Yeah, this was one of the most bizarre fucking books ever.
This is very
just like
strange. It's really strange.
A window into just complete. I mean, like from our perspective, or from my perspective now, just complete insanity, like conspiracy theory, essentially. But a conspiracy theory that took off and caused the deaths of tens of thousands of people across Europe.
No, not tens of thousands. I had a look at it. The Inquisition,
Thousands?
I think it was... So the Inquisition has taken off more in the popular imagination than in the real world. So it did happen, but it was over the course of about 450 years. I think something like 8,000 people were killed. Like,
well, that's
a lot of people, and 8,000 more than should have been killed. But the way that it's
Who
been
cares?
presented, at least to me, was that
Who cares?
you just had Inquisitors running riot without any oversight, just torturing and killing
we've
people
all killed
wherever.
the occasional 8,000 people. So every now and then, that's not even a big deal. Over 400 years, pish posh. That's all.
That's nothing. Your average Marxist is going to look at that and go, "You're a fucking amateur. Let me show you how mass extermination is done."
Mao's just like 50 million people or whatever it was.
Just laughing to himself in secular, godless heaven. Look at these people. A bit about the background behind the book, though, really helps contextualize it and make it simultaneously much funnier and much more disturbing. It was written by two people, Jacob Sprenger and Henricus Innsbruck. Innsbruck is the Latin name of Heinrich Kramer. And as soon as I heard Heinrich Kramer, I just thought of Kramer from Seinfeld, which made reading this book even more surreal. Because Kramer's having a really fucking bad decade. And
Kramer
has gotten bored with New York and
literally
gotten
doing
really into torturing women for sorcery. He just woke up on the wrong side of bed one morning and went, you know what? I hate women. Let's come up with a 700-page book describing and justifying my hatred for women. Because this book is directed against women. Because what I was saying earlier about how they quote fairly extensively from Catholic texts talking about witchcraft and how you're meant to,
Aquinas?
how
They
you
also
find
quote
witches,
Aquinas
how you
a bit.
try witches and things. And apparently in Latin, at least according to the translator's notes in the edition I have, you use the masculine form. It can also serve as a gender neutral form of say adjectives and things like that. But in this book, there are numerous places where the translator points out that the authors changed the masculine form in the original to the feminine form just to specify that they're talking about women, just to really make sure that you're aware that it's women they're going after.
That's so crazy.
These guys were bonkers. But to further contextualize it, so it's...
Didn't Kramer? I saw a source that said Kramer oversaw the execution of like 100 people himself.
I'll get to that because he probably inflated his own numbers. Because condemning women to get burned to death is something that you want to talk up. It's like when you meet, a 16-year-old and they'll tell you, it's like, oh, I've fucked like hundreds of women, Except with Kramer, it's, I've burned to death hundreds of women. For witchcraft. And all his Inquisitor mats are just nodding to themselves and is like, yeah, he's talking up his numbers again, isn't he? Most of us are happy if we've just burned to death 5 or 6 women. But Kramer just has to keep exaggerating. It's just typical Kramer. Apparently, he wasn't that popular among other Inquisitors. At one point, he was quite self-righteous. He apparently denounced, I think it was the Holy Roman Emperor, because he disagreed with him. Yeah. No, this cunt doesn't know what he's talking about. Big dog Kramer, though.
Can you imagine the ego
of the two authors, Kramer is by far the funnier one. So the first guy, Jacob Sprenger, he was a professor of theology in Cologne. He was fairly well known, and he was appointed an inquisitor in the Rhineland, but there's no evidence for any active participation on his part. He just wasn't that interested in field work. On the other hand, Heinrich Kramer was all about that inquisitor lifestyle. He was just a fucking rabid dog when it came to finding heretics. He was just a loose cannon. and yes, in the Malleus, like in this book, he brags, I think, that he'd had 48 women convicted of sorcery. And when he says, we'll get to the like legal niceties as to why he says convicted of sorcery and not killed for sorcery, because he always said that church people never condemn people to I think it was a punishment of blood, so the death penalty.
Yeah.
We only hand them over to secular authorities, who then would just kill them. So that means he's saying that he had 48 women burned to death. But then in later works, he claims that he'd convicted 200 and sentenced them to death. Absolutely he's just upping his body count.
Yeah, that was one of the funny things.
Proud of the number of women he had burned to death at the stake.
That's a weird.
Was a fucking maniac.
That's a weird flex.
Yeah. I mean, look, most people these days, they'll take a screenshot of their Dogecoin wallet or something like that. When I say most people, I mean probably like 3 people in the entire world. Hey mate, look how much I have in Dink Doink. You want to see my NFT portfolio? It says 2023 Heinrich Kramer. Do you know how many rare apes I have? If Kramer were born today, I bet he'd get really, really into he'd be one of those people flexing his NFT wallet after the bottom's fallen out of the market.
Yeah, just burning it.
And probably committing hate crimes at night.
You mean cleansing the earth, don't you, Jack?
I mean... and, even funnier is what seemed to have motivated writing the Malleus Maleficarum. It's just like the whole work seems to me, at least in large part, to be him trying to justify a failed Inquisition in Innsbruck. He tried to get an Inquisition going in Innsbruck in 1485 to early 1486, and he laid charges against 8 women.
He tried to get an Inquisition going.
Our boy Kramer, once he gets a...
once he gets an idea in his head, he's going to pursue it.
Yeah, he's a bulldog. Except he's just a pit bull. Except instead of biting children in the face, he's all about burning women to death. The pit bull Kramer.
So fucking dark. This guy actually existed.
He got the scent of 8 women and laid charges against them. But the bishop, so Bishop George of Brixen, who had jurisdiction over this place, objected from very early on to this guy's handling of the case, because apparently he wasn't following procedure. Like, okay, so if you're going to burn a woman to death, you better follow procedure. Otherwise, look, we're not animals here. We've got rules, mate. When it comes to condemning people to
come on, we're civilized here in medieval Europe.
For stirring up hailstorms in their bathtub. Yeah, there's a procedure we've got to follow. We're not... I don't want people to think that we're doing this for fun. I don't want anyone to think that our boy Kramer enjoyed his job.
Any innocence due to our bad methods. You know, we don't want any false positives, mate.
No. These
heresy and witch hunting.
We only use the most sensitive and most specific tests for being a sorcerer.
100%.
Oh yeah. 100% sensitivity and specificity. Because
gets them every time. Just rack them up, give it like a day on the rack, gets them every time. They'll admit it themselves.
I mean, look, maybe he used the rack. I think
no, he didn't.
Kramer was
he used the other thing.
Stappato.
Yeah, the stappato.
The thing where...
Do you want to explain that one? It's pretty fucked
yeah,
up. That was his favourite.
It's where like you tie someone's hands behind their back and then there'll be a winch on the ceiling and you basically just suspend them off the ground from their hands tied behind their back so it dislocates their shoulders. He's got this part where he's talking about a woman and he's like, she was only suspended an inch off the ground and she confessed, which means she must have been a witch. She was that guilty. And I was thinking, but I mean, gravity doesn't care how, like, it's going to work whether you're
the further off the ground you are.
Or 10 meters off the ground. It's not going to make a difference.
It'd make a difference if they lifted her, like, I don't know, like 10,000 kilometers off the ground, I guess.
Yeah.
Like slightly less.
If you get far enough from Earth that the gravitational field isn't affecting you as much, sure. But I don't think Kramer was considered. Maybe Kramer was thinking about that.
We only lifted her an inch off the ground. Here's the funny thing, like, I mean, I was going to say something. I was going to try to say something sensible, but I just feel like any like sensible criticism of this is just wasted because it's just so absurd.
This is just insanity.
Like this guy was a fucking nutcase.
Yeah.
But the thing is, was he a nutcase in the context, like, it wasn't like he was just doing this by himself. Like, he was doing this in the context of the judicial system at the time. So it was like the conspiracy theory, right, that just spread.
Well, what we were saying earlier about how, so he'd started this Inquisition in Innsbruck, and the local bishop eventually had to send him a letter to ask him to leave his diocese because he was just causing trouble. And I don't think the women were convicted. Like, the bishop intervened so that they wouldn't be burned at the stake or imprisoned.
Fucking hell. Maybe some of the luckiest women in all of history.
Even within the context of the Inquisition, this guy was considered a bit of a nutcase. Like,
crazy.
Other Catholic, like, presumably Bishop George of Brixen was also a sincere
He also got
Catholic.
Around a bit of witch hunting.
He was like, okay, we're going to get rid of this institutorious guy.
Yeah.
This Kramer guy.
He's a radical.
So once that happened, Kramer went he went monk mode MGTOW for a while. He retreated into himself.
He went MGTOW? He went MGTOW. Came back with the Malleus.
Medieval MGTOW.
It's like he retired from YouTube for three years after declaring the MGTOW, came back.
And then he came back. This was his return to YouTube. His channel lay
I'm
dormant.
back. Kramer is back. I've got this.
And that explains why this book starts with a Raycons ad. It's like, before I get into how and why we should burn women to death, let's hear a word from our sponsor. Are you sick of listening to Bible audio tape or Bible audio books with shitty headphones in fucking 1400s in 1486 when this comes out?
Use promo code LEX. Get 25% off your next rack.
He's got an Amazon affiliate program so that when you order ropes for Staccato, he gets a cut.
Yeah, affiliate marketing was going off in the 1400s.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't think Amazon had same-day delivery back then, but I think it was still pretty good. So this book is basically him justifying his failed Inquisition in Innsbruck to the world. I feel like it's most marked at the start of the book. The book is divided into 3 parts, and the first part is about why witches definitely exist, why their crimes are worse than Satan, and why you should definitely kill them wherever you find them. And then there's a lot about why secular authorities should never interfere with the work of the Inquisition when it comes to prosecuting witches, and why the local ecclesiastical authorities should always prosecute witches. There's a really funny bit towards the end of the book where he starts talking about why the local authorities should always prosecute witches, but why Inquisitors, when it's a boring witchcraft case that probably won't involve the death penalty, should be able to excuse themselves. That was just this whole I don't want to eat my vegetables part.
Yeah,
he just wants the good
only
stuff.
want to do
he
the
just
killing.
wants the executions.
What a sick fuck. You can fucking
Yeah, this guy was completely fucked in the head. He must have tortured at least a few people.
Oh, 100%, or at least like oversaw the torture to eat himself.
In terms of going through this book, because this book is so repetitive.
Yeah, it's really fucking annoying.
Do you want to... I reckon we should spend most of our time in parts 2 and 3, because part 2 is about what witches do to people. Part 3 is about how you get witches to confess and how you sentence them.
Yeah, should we just give a 2-second summary of part 1 and then just move on to part 2 straight away?
Witches exist. They're almost always women, because women are... There are a lot of justifications in this book for why women are terrible.
The methods of identifying witches.
Written by Heinrich, some of my best friends are women, Kramer.
An interesting one is also that like actually denying that witches exist is a form of heresy. So actually even just criticize, even just being like, are you sure about that? They're like, they clearly do exist, you must be a witch.
He's got this really good part where he goes that, like, if sorceresses don't exist, then why are they punished so harshly under divine law? I love that circular argument because he's like, I'm writing a book which is describing why witches should be so harshly punished. And why would that happen if they didn't exist?
If it weren't for the fact that they exist,
fucking got
why
me
would
there,
I be
Kramer.
torturing them if they didn't exist?
Kramer telling George Costanza about why witches exist. Why would we execute them if they didn't exist?
I mean, I think the fact that this was like 400 or 500 years ago, like, means that I can laugh about it. But this actually happened.
Yeah. No,
this guy was actually out there,
so
like, torturing people, and he was using this as an argument. He's like, why would I torture you if you weren't a witch? Like, clearly you're a witch because I'm torturing you.
No, it gets so much more disturbing, particularly in part 3 when he's describing how you take in the accused. And when I say accused, I mean the
condemned
person that
just
Kramer
straight off.
definitely wants to sentence to death and has already decided is a witch because she's a woman.
Yeah, so to caveat that, like, it turns out
Literally nothing you can say or do can disprove you being a witch to Kramer once he's decided on
it. Eyewitness testimony was like essentially the highest form, or maybe the second highest form of evidence, which means that like you could just lob an accusation at somebody and fuck them, and maybe only the second highest to the highest form of evidence, which was confession, which was done under conditions of torture. It's just like
like, and we'll get to that too, because he's got this whole thing about like, if the woman doesn't confess under torture, then she's a witch because she's using a spell of silence on herself. But if she does confess, then she's also a witch because she confessed.
It's like, you're fucked either way. Like, this guy's just set up perfect trap. Just, you get accused, you're fucked.
So I'm gonna play armchair Sigmund Freud for a little bit here.
Oh, yeah,
I reckon this guy had some real problems with his willy. He had some real PP problems.
You reckon maybe it's or something? What happened to you?
A good like 30% of this book seemed to be dedicated to him talking about erectile dysfunction.
He's just
there's a lot of erectile dysfunction.
Little limp dick, little bitch.
He should have got sponsored by Blue Chews. I reckon that would have helped.
He should have gotten sponsored by Blue Chews.
He would have been a whole lot less angry.
Promo code HAMMER. You go to bluechews.com/hammer, the hammer, and get 30% off your next order of Blue Chews.
So much of this, he keeps coming back to the topic of whenever a man has problems getting it up, it's witchcraft. Someone has cursed him. And he's got this thing about like...
You know what? I fucking agree with... Fuck you, Jack. I agree with Kramer. Whenever I can't get out, it's because of witchcraft.
Heinrich, I swear this has never happened before, Kramer.
And
giving us theological justifications
Jack, I'm going
for why
to put
he can't
you
get
in.
it up.
This is the most complex justification for your own erectile dysfunction.
Why you can't get up. Instead of someone really should have just taken Kramer aside and gone, listen, mate, it's embarrassing. Sometimes it's just not your night, all right? Just
it's embarrassing.
Just pick yourself up, dust
just
yourself off,
man. Like maybe in the morning you'll be right, all right? You know,
but no, fucking Kramer went MGTOW after a bad night. Decided he was going to exact revenge on all women forever.
We should read a MGTOW book, by the way.
Yeah, we probably should. We've read a lot of books that have the MGTOW ethos, like this one. The beginning was the end, which was written after a breakup in a Chinese monastery. That had strong MGTOW energy. But we probably should just read something that's actually explicitly MGTOW, not us making fun of them and calling them MGTOW. But we were making fun of his penis. So he regularly, he's got so many bits where he says, okay, well, evidence of witchcraft. So a guy can't get it up with his wife, but then when he sleeps with another woman, he can get it up. He's like, the only reason this can happen is witchcraft. He's also got this long section about, well, when I say long sections about how sorceresses can make it look like someone has lost their penis. And he tells, so the best part of this book are his anecdotes about just things he's heard or things he's seen in his time as an Inquisitor. And in one part he's like, okay, there was this guy who one morning he woke up and where his dick was meant to be, just smooth, nothing there. And he showed me, and yep, I felt it, just smooth. No penis there. And then he goes on, he has this really long discussion of, okay, well, did the demon, because obviously this is witchcraft, so did the demon acting through a sorceress actually just remove the penis? Well, no, because only God can change the physical world in that way. So it must be conjuration. So what's actually happening is the demon is interfering with everyone's senses so that it looks to them like there's no penis there. And then he outlines the ways that you can get your penis back, and they involve prayer, fasting, finding the woman responsible and burning her to death, All sorts of ways that you can make your penis reappear. So much of this book is him talking about dicks. But he'll also never call it a dick because he's a refined man. It's always a male member or a limb or the instrument.
The instrument.
So much of this book is him talking about sex. All the bit about how demons can stop people, all the ways that demons can stop the conception of a child, or demons working through sorceresses. Because sorceresses will make a pact with a demon. Like, they'll actually sign their name on some document with a demon to pledge themselves to the demon.
Yeah, the pact.
And then they'll stop procreation by making it look like your penis has disappeared, by giving you erectile dysfunction, by stealing the sperm when you come. There'll be like a demon just waiting there to catch your sperm.
Just at the tip of your dick. It's like Descartes' demon, except instead of assuring you that, like, you know, you exist and all that sort of shit, it nicks your semen. Damn it.
That's a weird one. Imagine that being your job as a demon.
Oh, yeah, of all the demon-y things that you could
you're
be.
Packing your lunch in the morning, getting ready to go to demon work. I'm going to be the cum catcher.
Fucking goddamn.
I'm going to steal this dude's sperm.
Only 3 more years of being fucking cum catcher, then I can move up. And move him up in the world. He takes off his coat as he goes out the door.
All right, graduate to something else.
You know, today I woke up this morning and I made my bed. You know, I'm going to do a good job at work. Everything I do, I'm going to make sure I do it well. Transform my little piece of the world into heaven on earth.
You've got Demon Jordan Peterson. This guy's on the tram on the way to work to being the cum catcher. He's
for the devil.
Demon Jordan Peterson. I don't like it. I don't like the cum catcher work, but you know what? If I really try, then life's going to be better. I'm going to move up.
I just realised
everyone has to start somewhere.
You got to start somewhere. You know, I'm only 1,300 years old as a demon. You know, I'm just getting a start to life. I'm going to pet a cat if I see it on the street and then murder it and sacrifice it to the devil.
And if that's somewhere where I have to start, is at the tip of some German peasant's penis?
Some German peasant's, like, syphilis-ridden penis as he comes into...
Unwashed.
Unwashed. No, probably had never had a fucking bath in his life.
This was pre-syphilis.
This was pre-syphilis. Oh shit!
Syphilitic.
Sorry, I'm terribly offended. If there are any German 14th and 15th century German peasants listening, I apologize for
people only listen to our podcast, or at least in large part listen to our podcast because of our historical accuracy, our dedication to getting things right all the time. So I'll cut that out.
Shout out to medieval Europe and your sexual hygiene.
The pre-syphilis days.
Pre-syphilis days. Those were the good old days. A peasant could just fuck.
The golden age.
About the golden age.
Pre-HIV, pre-syphilis. You do whatever you wanted. Except for being a witch.
You couldn't be a witch, yeah.
Except for being a woman.
Unless you were a woman, in which case it was fucking horrible. Like some crazy motherfucker from the Dominican will just like roll up and start like hanging you.
Kramer and the crazy boys will roll up to you
and then burn you alive.
Start going through your things looking for objects of witchcraft.
Don't you think, you know, I don't like, okay, again, I don't want to be too sensible, but I just got to ask you one thing. Like, do you think that it legitimately didn't run through this guy's head, Kramer? He literally wasn't like, he didn't think for 1 second that like nothing he said made any sense? Because sometimes like, when I read these books, I'm just like, that's so ridiculous. Is this more like, is this just, well, in this case, it is a propaganda piece, right? I guess, sort of. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I think so. I think it really was intended to convince people that what Kramer was wanting to do was the right thing.
Yeah. And so he didn't think for a second, like, hey, maybe torturing somebody is not a reliable way to get to the truth. Like, that didn't cross his mind for, like, a single moment. I just find, like, I don't know what's more offensive, the fact that he tortured all these people, or the fact that he didn't think, like, hey, maybe maybe torturing them, they'll say whatever the fuck I want them to say. Actually, now that I say it out loud, that's probably what he wanted.
I reckon I think he was sincere. I don't know if he ever had, you know, it was 3 a.m. and he couldn't go to sleep and he was thinking...
He's reflecting
you know,
on...
Actually,
is what I'm doing in life...
His choices in life. It's like, did I need to do that?
He's like, no, Heinrich, no. He pushes the thoughts aside. No. You're on the path. You're going your own way, Heinrich.
Maybe there was one night when he was lying awake and thinking about his time as an Inquisitor, and he thought, maybe I should just start a podcast. Maybe that's the dream. I've been putting aside money. You know what? I can buy a cheap microphone. I can just use GarageBand or something free, and I'll start a podcast. And I won't need to torture anymore.
I've done my best.
I can hang up the inquisitorial robes, and I can become an online personality.
Truly.
That didn't happen. Kramer woke up the next morning. God had fortified his soul. He had a spring in his step.
He got straight back to inquisiting.
And he accused the first woman he saw when he left the house of being a witch.
You're a witch, and you're a witch, and you're a witch. Everyone's a witch.
This guy was such a fucking loose cannon. Can you imagine being like the guard, or one of the guards guarding the gate of some German hamlet in the 15th century, and you're standing there, eyes glued to the horizon, just looking for trouble, and you just hear in the distance this this barking, and you and your buddy start getting nervous. You're like, oh, something's coming. And then you spy in the distance, and your friend goes, oh, fuck, it's Kramer. No, hide. Kramer's coming. And you and your buddy, like, run into the village and close the gate. Kramer gets to the front door, starts banging on it. Where are the women? I smell witches. Your friend's looking over.
Give me your finger.
Drawing his finger over his lips. Going, shh. If he doesn't know we're here, he'll go away. You have to run into the village and hide all the women. You go out the front. It's, oh, hey, Kramer. Great to see you.
No women
How are
here.
Things? It's, where are the women?
Haven't seen one of them in years, mate.
He's got the Bic lighter that he bought at the 7-Eleven along with the sausage roll this morning for breakfast. He's just like flicking it on and off. It's like, nah, mate, sorry. No,
it's got
women.
one of those fidget spinners.
We haven't had any women here for decades. No one to burn here, sorry. In that next village over, though, I hear they've got plenty of women. He gets on all fours and just starts running away like a dog, howling. On the prowl. Yeah, this guy would have been a real piece of work. I reckon he was sincere, though. I reckon he did most of the time believe this.
Yeah, so I'm obviously not a fucking expert on this, but just looking around the internet, reading some stuff, seems as though, as I was saying earlier in the episode, you could look at this through the conspiracy theory lens, which is like, well, they didn't think it was a conspiracy theory. They just thought it was a thing that was happening. But they had all these prophecies about the end of, like, the world, like, apocalyptic stuff, and thinking that, like, oh, yeah, like, the devil exists and devils are real, and there's these sects of women helping out the devil and all that sort of stuff to try and get more souls into doing sin, all that sort of thing. So if they actually believe that, one, their model of the world is basically like completely magical. Like everything to them is like magical, right? They believe all this shit that exists that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So so what they're trying to do is, if you assume they're sincere, like they genuinely believed what they were doing was a good thing in a weird fucking way. It was just based on a completely bonkers underlying explanatory fabric of their worldview.
We've talked about witches a lot. Might quickly define what they are. So they're basically women.
It's an adult human female.
Full stop.
that's which adult human female.
Look, for Kramer, that probably wasn't a joke. I get this strong impression that he really did not trust women at
Yeah, I think he had some serious mummy issues.
Didn't breastfeed him or something.
Yeah,
So he lost his fucking mind.
He was a formula baby.
She didn't hug him enough.
Yeah, spanked him. Used the cane on him.
Spanked him once. And he turned into Kramer.
Inquisited the shit out of Europe.
This is what happens if you disagree with if you say no to your child, even once, they will turn into an Inquisitor.
Do you want your child to be an Inquisitor? Don't be a fucking irresponsible parent. Don't never say...
Give your child everything they ask for immediately.
Do everything they want, otherwise you never know. They might burn you at the stake.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not if you're the father.
And you would be deserving. Yeah, well, obviously. I mean, I thought that was just assumed.
Yeah. But anyway, so a witch is a woman who signs a contract with a demon, oftentimes has sex with them too. So
just for the fun of it.
This guy, it is pretty funny to see that. Well, I mean, I say funny.
Obsessions. So, it's funny if you're Jack and Levi and you just have the most fucking ridiculous, absurd sense of humor. If you're a woman living in 15th century Germany, probably wasn't funny.
No.
If you're a dude living a few hundred years after, it might be funny.
This guy is obviously terrified of female sexuality, and so whenever there's anything bad with a woman, he ties it up with their sexuality. So in large part, they'll sign a contract with a demon, oftentimes to get back at someone who's slighted them in a really petty way, because at several points in this book, he notes that women are extremely vindictive and gossipy and petty.
Fucking call the kettle black, Jesus Christ.
If you look, the guy who wrote a fucking 700-page book complaining about women, it's like, oh, they're really petty.
They're really petty.
They complain too much. Let me tell you for 700 pages why that's the case.
So fucking ridiculous.
This cunt was just so fucked in the head. But as well as them signing contracts with demons because they're petty and because someone looked at them wrong or didn't like their dress, they also do it because they want to have sex with incubus demons, which he does spend a long time talking about this. So he theologically establishes that women can enjoy sex with incubus demons and they can get pregnant by them. But demons are purely spiritual beings and so can't impregnate someone, but the cum catcher demons can transfer the cum.
Little turkey baster on the tip of your dick, sucking up your cum.
Exactly, yeah. A spiritual turkey baster.
A spiritual turkey baster squirted into my soul.
Yeah, and that's how they can impregnate someone. And it's really funny. He talks about how, so you can have one demon who's the cum catcher for one woman and can give that or for a man. So, and he also goes over, wet dreams, or as he calls them, nocturnal emissions, are one of the main sources of cum for the cum catchers. So you've got the demon. You've got the demon who's assigned to just watch this guy sleep until he has a wet dream.
That's like
in a baseball mitt or something.
Mostly teenage boys.
And then give it to another demon who is assigned to a woman.
Fucking ridiculous.
So they're like, it's like trading. Did you trade Pokemon cards when you were in primary school?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So you
I
know
was more
how
into
you'd
Yu-Gi-Oh
have like,
myself, but yeah.
oh
Pokemon's
really?
right. Yeah, I really like Yu-Gi-Oh.
No, I had a shiny Venusaur when I was like 7. I
Oh,
still
nice.
remember it.
Yeah,
So
nice. That's a good one.
so yeah, like a cum catcher gets just prime, like high grade, medical grade,
High
weapons grade
octane fucking
seed
semen.
from a stud. Probably
from
from
an
Kramer.
alpha male, from fucking
From Kramer.
from Kramer.
Because Kramer, I'm pretty sure Kramer was nofap, given how often he talks about how good celibacy
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
So
yeah. Definitely no fat.
nofap, Alpha Chad, Kramer. So you've got some of his seed, and that is the equivalent of a shiny Venusaur. And
He was
so
like the
they all get
Andrew
together.
Tate of 15th century Europe.
Yeah, yeah, probably. So you've got the Bitcoin millionaire kickboxer, theologian extraordinaire Kramer. So you've got his sperm, and all of the demons will be getting together and trading it with each other. It's like, oh, well, I'll trade you a shiny Machamp and a few Psyducks for your shiny Venusaur. I'll trade you 3 okay batches of sperm for your Kramer load, and they'll trade that and then impregnate a sorceress with those. I just found a really good his anecdotes are the best part of this book. He's got this great anecdote about a holy man going turbo nofap, like just incredible, inspiring, in fact. Let us say a few words about how a good angel at times benefits righteous and holy men, especially in terms of the force to procreate. This is what happened to Saint Serenus the Abbot, about whom Cassian tells a story in the Conference with the Fathers, first conference about Abbot Serenus. Hence, in light of his internal chastity of heart and soul, he devoted himself unflaggingly to prayers by night and day, and also to fasts and vigils, and in the end he perceived that through divine grace he had extinguished all the roilings of carnal lusting in him. Then, being kindled with a greater zeal for chastity, he used the aforementioned remedies and prayed to God that the chastity of the inner man should spill over into the body by God's gift. Eventually, an angel came to him in a vision at night, and seemingly opening his stomach, the angel wrenched a burning lump of flesh from his guts and returned all his intestines to their place, just as they had been. Look, he said, the parts of your flesh that incite have been cut out. Be advised that today you have obtained constant purity of the body in accordance with the prayer in which you asked that you should no longer be buffeted by the natural impulse that is roused even in little ones who are nursing. I thought that was so inspiring. That's really powerful.
Amazing.
Can you imagine the subjectivity of the type of guy who's that opposed to coming that he eventually has a fucking hallucination or a dream about an angel ripping out some flesh of him. It's like, oh, you don't get horny anymore now. Congratulations.
I've done it.
I've broken through.
Yeah, the subjectivity.
I will no longer
like
reproduce.
This guy spent years praying, like basically indoctrinating himself into this like extreme chastity shit, and then until he hallucinated this fucking vision. That's crazy. This guy was completely fucking nuts.
Even better. Kramer goes on to talk about this guy and say he was so good that eventually he only spoke to women by necessity.
Just expunged. That's it.
He broke through. The only reason he spoke to women previously was because he got horny, and now that he doesn't need to speak to them anymore. And
that's so fucking crazy. It's so crazy.
The thing is, like many books we've previously read, this book's really funny to talk about, but fuck, it's so boring to read.
Yeah, don't read it. It's horrible.
Don't read it
unless you're.
It's so legalistic.
Yeah,
but
really into reading medieval
smooth brain legalism. Because as I said earlier, he's not consistent. Like he just keeps getting stuff wrong or just disagreeing with things that he said previously. He has this long section about why. So demons can pretty much do anything. Or they can do lots of things so long as they have God's permission. And God gives them permission to do that, to either test the righteous, to punish sinners, or... Look, it just depends on how much Kramer likes you, whether you're a righteous person being tested or a sinner being punished. Anyway, so demons can do lots of things, but they can't make you look like a sorceress if you're not. Because if they could do that, then that would raise the obvious point of, well, all of these people you burned to death, how do you know that it wasn't just a demon tricking you into thinking that they were witches when they weren't? And he basically just says, nah, mate, God wouldn't let that happen. Nah, trust me, mate, trust me. I know God, and that's not happening.
Nah, my boy.
But then
God
in other
is not
parts of the
gonna let
book,
that sort of stuff happen.
he just out and out says, oh yeah, a demon misled these people into thinking this. Or a demon gave this person the bad reputation of being a heretic or of being a sorcerer. He's so legalistic, but he's also just so undisciplined. But that legalism makes this book really irritating to read, because it's just like, okay, let me list out now the 13 ways in which this particular thing happens, and each of these 13 ways will have 3 sub-situations in which things can go slightly differently. Oh, and as an aside, did you note the part where he just mentions offhand that trolls are real and live in Norway?
He mentions it's just...
He just says, I think there's just one sentence in the middle of the book where he just casually says, oh, trolls exist and they're in Norway, and then continues as if he didn't just say that trolls exist and live in Norway.
You know, I was listening to a discussion about children and education and Popper's philosophy. It was really interesting. And this guy, this educational philosopher, he's like, like he calls it magical thinking. Like kids exhibit magical thinking.
Yeah.
And he made this interesting point. He's like, that's the same faculty that allows us to like create science, is that like magical thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's essentially the same thing. It's like imagination and stuff. It's just like where we're at now in terms of being able to exclude things from our magical thinking, and like how we go about that. But it's almost like the default state is this capacity to just like think anything is possible within the world. And so when these people like say these things like there are trolls in Norway, like he literally meant like that. He genuinely believed that. He wasn't just fucking around, you know.
Yeah, this is not a metaphor.
Yeah, and I think like just reading ancient, like thinking through the implications of that, thinking through like the subjectivity of people holding those beliefs, whether it's like in whichever part of the world have these like, I don't know what you'd call it, like pagan beliefs or whatever, of like, oh, trolls in the forest, or you know, there's plenty here in Australia that like I heard in my family about like interesting like folklore about like spirits that exist in the bush and all that sort of stuff. It's like, yeah, people actually believe that.
Yeah,
it's really interesting. I don't really have much else to say.
I don't think he's being insincere when he talks about the harmfulness of witches in this book. I think he was sincere. I just also think he was fucked in the head.
He was sincere enough to torture a lot of people over it. It's pretty sincere.
Yeah. Looking through my notes,
some sort of metric.
I'm reminded of the number of anecdotes he tells. He tells quite a number of anecdotes where problems are basically solved with violence against women. I mean, so trying witches and condemning them to death. So that's also problems in inverted commas solved with violence against women. But there are a bunch of stories too where like someone won't be able to get it up. Again, a lot of his stories come back to erectile dysfunction. Which is why I think that maybe this book wouldn't have been written if Viagra existed in the 15th century.
Blue Chews would have
been a whole lot less angry.
Could have prevented these atrocities.
But there are so many stories of like, yeah, someone will have erectile dysfunction and will decide that some woman was responsible and will go out and just punch her, and then he'll be able to get it up again.
That's fucking
This guy's worldview was
fucking podcast.
This guy was just such a fucking loose cannon.
Complete loose cannon. Jesus fucking Christ. I shouldn't blaspheme, sorry. My apologies.
Yeah, no. We want to be respectful in this episode. We want to treat this guy's ideas. Well, I say respect. We did make fun of his penis.
We want to be
earlier.
impartial.
But apart from that, I think we've been very respectful.
We want to be fair and balanced when we present the views of witch hunters. Medieval Germany.
And when you say witch hunters, you're not being hyperbolic.
No.
That was what this guy identified as.
Yeah. I mean, the English translation
that was on his LinkedIn
is
profile. He's a witch hunter, professional witch hunter.
Isn't it? Isn't that what Malleus Maleficarum? It means hammer of the witches. Hammer of
the witches.
Yeah.
As an aside, Hammer of Witches is Ringworm's best album. So at the very least, this book gave us that album.
How did he reference that album? So he referenced it so far in advance.
I
mean, he must.
I was pretty surprised to find out.
Do you reckon he was in the recording studios as they were making it, and he was helping them figure out the title of the album?
Okay,
Maybe.
So this is my theory. So the vocalist for Ringworm goes by the stage name of Human Furnace, and I expect that Human Furnace's Christian name is actually Kramer. I reckon Kramer's doing the vocal. Kramer is the vocalist for Ringworm, and that redeems him in my eyes to a large extent. I mean, Ringworm's a great band. I mean, I'm surprised they've made it this far without being cancelled, given that their vocalist is a 15th century Inquisitor who's sentenced several women to being burned at the stake.
haven't been cancelled.
Things like this.
Yeah, but I really think we're getting over that sort of cancel culture stuff, and we've come a long way. I think society over the last couple of years has learned a lot
and not get
about
cancelled.
the importance of freedom of speech and freedom of association.
Yeah, exactly. And that's all I'm saying
and
is let's not be too quick to cancel someone just because they've sentenced a few people to being burned at the stake for being witches.
What's the problem?
We've got to take a step back. That's cancel culture going too far. I mean, look, it's the guy's job. What are you going to do? Chase him out of the job just because he's burned a few people? For witchcraft?
He's a hardworking, blue-collar sort of guy.
Just because he's advocating for misogynistic
He's
violence.
hardworking. Every day of his life, he's out there fighting the good fight.
Exactly. And if he wants to be part of a metalcore band at the same time, then don't punish him for that.
Yeah, haven't you heard that K-San song? Working hard to make a living all across this land. Fucking this is the working class man.
I think Kramer was part of that song as well.
Yeah.
Didn't he do vocals for that song?
Yeah. So
Kramer is a pop.
Kramer
has given us. Okay,
so
he's burned a few people, but what has Kramer given us? Well, he's given us Ringworm, where he's the vocalist.
Yeah.
He's given us Kramer and Seinfeld. That was pretty big. That's a big contribution.
All is forgiven.
All's forgiven. Yeah.
Look,
if you've enjoyed Seinfeld, but you disagree
we all
with
do
Kramer,
stupid
you're a
things
hypocrite.
every now and then. Let he who is
Everyone
without
makes
sin
mistakes.
cast the first
All I'm
stone.
saying, you should be able to forgive as well. Okay, that's all I'm saying. All I'm saying.
You heard it here, folks. Let's forgive the Inquisitors.
No, not the Inquisitors. Just Kramer.
Just
other
Kramer,
Inquisitors.
fuck the rest.
I don't think other Inquisitors were part of Ringworm or Seinfeld.
No, true.
What I'm saying is we should only forgive them if they make music we like. If they haven't done that, then I think we should judge them. Okay, where do you want to go? So the problem is, I've got so many quotes and descriptions of the legalistic arguments he makes describing the 5 ways that possession can take place. But I just don't think it's actually that interesting to talk about the specific ways that demons possess people.
No, it's not. What would be good though? Let's
talk about the
initiation of witches,
the conviction process for witchcraft,
methods which is used to harm others, countermeasures of witchcraft. What do you reckon?
Countermeasures of witchcraft is basically just pray a lot and fast, and even then you can get affected because you're a sinner.
Trial and punishment of witches. Trial and punishment?
Trial and punishment. Okay, so shout out to Kramer for this. He does not like the trial of the burning iron, which is basically so... This might be the only place where I thought, okay, Kramer is being halfway. He's doing the absolute bare minimum in terms of being a decent human being. So the trial, I was getting Evola vibes because Evola would have disagreed strongly with Kramer here. So I wish there were a Super Smash Brothers tournament where Kramer and Evola could have gone head to head to hash this out. So this was a ritual, a rite where to determine guilt, you'd get a piece of iron and make it white hot, and then get the person to hold it. And if they could hold on to it, then they must not be guilty because they're divinely protected. And if they respond to holding a piece of white hot iron in a normal way, then they're guilty. And Kramer says, no, this is wrong and unlawful because it's basically telling God or expecting God to intervene miraculously in a subject to demonstrate someone's innocence, which is really presumptuous. So that was a spot where Kramer was being...
It's like, God's busy.
Look, as we always come back to, his working was wrong, but he got to the right answer.
Well, on this, out of like 700 pages, this was the one page where maybe he kind of was in the...
It wasn't even a page. This is like this was maybe a paragraph. I read it and thought, okay, mate, your reasoning's a bit wayward. Yeah. It's like 1 + 1 = well, the sky is blue and water is wet, so it must be 2. Like, okay, look, you got to the right spot. The destination was fine. The journey was a bit circuitous, but I'll give you half marks for that one. So, there we go. There's a sentence in this book that I halfway agree with. What about that thing where he talks about how witches can remote view? He's got this thing about how, like, if they sit on their left side and prop their head up with their hand, they can see what's happening really far away and teleport themselves far away.
Yeah. Remote view. Yeah, like the
and then so this is very unusual for Kramer to say things that don't make much sense. But later on, he talks about how witches regularly hold these, like, meet and greets where they all get together and, I don't know, eat carrot sticks dipped in hummus and talk shop, like talk about sacrificing babies or
just talk shop with the witches, with the
having sex with incubus demons. And he talks about how it's really it's important to have no-knock raids of these sort of get-togethers.
No-knock
to have
raids.
The FBI just no-knock raids of witch gatherings to get the Raptor Squad in. Call in the New South Wales Raptor Squad to break up witch gatherings.
Yeah, fucking A.
Bunch of dudes in riot gear, like, rappel through your window because you've been saying some bad stuff on a Discord server. Because you've been saying bad stuff that I've passed on because I'm a Fed. I mean...
Because you're in cybersecurity.
That slipped out because I'm not a Fed. Who wants to discuss their insurrectionary plans on Discord? Do so on our Discord server. Do it.
Fucking D.
Anyway, so when the Raptor Squad needs to bust up these witch gatherings, but I don't know why they would have witch gatherings if they can effectively just call people with their remote viewing anyway. Why would they could be completely non-local?
Well, it's like Zoom fatigue.
Yeah, maybe
witches were getting Zoom fatigue.
They start remote viewing and the other person's mouth is moving, but they can't hear anything. And they have to go, "Oh, mate, you're on mute. You're on mute."
You're on mute, mate.
They have to send in the equivalent of a demonic text and be like, "You're on mute. Can't hear you." Yeah, it must have been Zoom fatigue. It's funny how you look back through history and you realize that human problems just haven't changed. I mean, you had people in the 15th century with Zoom fatigue, just like we do now.
It's the same
It's
thing.
it
It's
really
just
it
a
humbles you. Actually,
different technological
makes
context,
you realize
but it's
the
the same
human
problem.
experience. We're all just humans, you know.
Yeah, that's right. We're all just humans.
We're all except for women. Except for witches. As Kramer told us, over 700 pages. Why that's the case. Can you imagine the hatred that just sustained this guy writing 700 pages? And he couldn't have been typing this out. He had to be handwriting this.
And the thing is, it's
Just
not
the
like
sheer
yeah,
haste
exactly.
to make this guy write.
He was doing this over, like writing it in, and not even with the fucking ballpoint pen. He was using quill tip shit, back then.
I mean, it's just such a hipster. It's like those. It's even worse than people who use typewriters these days. People who use like a quill and ink, and just be a fucking normal person and type it up in Microsoft Word, Kramer. That's my biggest complaint about this book. That I just don't like how he wrote, what he used to write it. Didn't type it out. He just thought it made it more authentic if he handwrote it. He probably thought computers were demonic. I bet he had a porn addiction, and so throughout his computer, because he just couldn't control himself. That's why he handwrote it. As soon as he has anything with an internet connection, he blacks out and wakes up. He's on Pornhub searching for pegging videos or something like that. Magically, as soon as he gets access to the internet, the account fartslave_666 pops up again on Pornhub.
Fart slave, so fucking good.
Oh wait, there's that bit where he talks about the sort of sorcery that only men do and not women. Right? Archery sorcerers.
Necromancy was it as well?
No, he talks about at least in my edition, the translator has this long section why he translates necromancy as nigromancy in this book. So apparently this is actually quite interesting historically. So the word necromancy got corrupted as people basically just forgot how to speak Greek in the Middle Ages, at least in Central Europe where this was written. And so it got corrupted to nigromancy for the word for black.
Ah, yeah, okay.
It carried this dual meaning of like sorcery of the dead, like necromancy, but also black magic. And so the translator said that he kept it in to try to convey that dual meaning. But yeah, he talks about necromancy / nigromancy a lot. Really clever. So but yes, sorcerer archers are the this is a type of sorcery that only men do. And you do it by you get an image of Jesus or the cross and then shoot a bunch of arrows into it. You sign a deal with the devil. The devil sends you a PDF on email and you search for the part where you have to click and then like draw in your shitty e-signature. Once you've hit Control S on that PDF, then your soul is his. But you get crazy like 360 no scope arrow skills where the number of arrows you shot into the image of Jesus, that's the number of arrows per day. This is an ability that refreshes every 24 hours. Those will unerringly find their target. So you can that is such an OP build, and that's why it carries the death penalty, because you're basically using an aimbot, and that's not fair.
I would 100% give the death penalty to motherfuckers who use aimbots. Fuck those guys.
Aimbots, yeah, fuck exactly. These people are basically these are those aimbots.
And any what do you call them?
CS:GO, who just ruin the game for everyone.
Killing aimbot motherfuckers.
Exactly, yeah.
Just
when you get some
sitting
guy
down
with
in front of the spawn
camping
point. Yeah, fuck that.
These pieces of shit. So anyway, that's what archery sorcery is, and they're pieces of shit. And while I think Kramer was a bit too hard on women in this book, I think he took things a bit far when he effectively just says that they're all guilty. But I think he was too lenient when it came to aimbotters. When it came to demonic aimbot users, I think this book. So the ratio of anti-women to anti-aimbot in this book was wrong. Like, he only dedicated a few paragraphs to aimbotters. This whole book should have been about the aimbot sorcerers rather than about sorceresses.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, look, I'll leave a bad review on Amazon for this book. Hopefully Kramer will read it, and for the sequel, he'll fix that. And that's the cool thing about publishing these days. You know, if someone self-publishes, then they can release a version 2 of this book. And I'm expecting The Hammer of the Witches to take into account some of our concerns, given that this is a pretty influential podcast and people rewrite books based on what we say about them here. We're huge. I mean, the Unabomber Manifesto 2, a lot of that was based on what we said about the Unabomber Manifesto 1. Julius Evola, Ride the Tiger 2, that was based on what we said about Ride the Tiger. But people listen to us. You fucking bet that Kramer is listening.
So
yes. What about the process? So let's go over how you establish if someone's a witch and how you sentence them. This was the darkest part of this book, because this was the most practical part.
Yeah, this is practical female psychology right here.
This is practical female psychology for the practical Inquisitor. and it's like, okay, so I never expected that the Inquisition would give people a fair trial. They're not known for that. And by the standards of Inquisitors, Kramer was a bit loopy. But basically, you establish... So he says, okay, you've got 3 ways in which someone can be suspected of being a witch. And that's, 1, you can be accused. So just someone says in public, this person is a witch. And he advises against that because he says, oh, well, the witch is going to retaliate against you. So if you say in public that Miss Y cursed you because you passed her in the street and she said, oh, you're going to regret the day you looked at me badly and then you got a cold or something, or you couldn't get it up anymore. So you accuse her in public. The second way is denunciation, and this is the way that Kramer likes. He says that that secret denunciation is cool, and this is if wait, I should so evidence of witchcraft actually is always that, or it's basically always circumstantial evidence, and Kramer turns circumstantial evidence into direct evidence by just saying that they're the same thing, which is very innovative. It's a really innovative legal technique.
Yeah. Just like, no, it is.
And there are so many anecdotes in this book of like, 2 women have a squabble over a very trifling thing because women are gossipy and vindictive. And then one woman will say to the other woman, you will be sick now. And then that woman goes home and gets pneumonia or something. So that's evidence of witchcraft. So you go to your local friendly inquisitor with this evidence and you denounce that woman for making you sick. That counts as witness testimony as well. And that's really strong evidence in Inquisitor court.
That's crazy, isn't it? Just can't believe these people.
And then the third way that you can be suspected of being a witch is through rumors. So, Kramer spends so much time talking about how women are gossipy, but then one of his preferred methods of getting someone on witchcraft is basically to listen to the rumor mill and go, oh yeah, they're talking a lot about this woman and calling her a witch. I bet she's a witch.
She's probably a witch.
He's probably a witch.
Sounds like a witch to me.
So, someone can have a bad reputation have a reputation for witchcraft. And then if there's a bad hailstorm or there's a lot of rain, then the Inquisition swoops in and goes, no, that must have been her. And they've got, in order to convict someone of being a witch, you need 3 things. So you need the denunciation or the accusation. You need evidence that they have fallen into heretical depravity. And when I say evidence, I mean like one woman says to you, you are not going to sleep well ever again because you've irritated me in some way. And then you don't get a good night's sleep. That is evidence of falling into heretical depravity. And then a confession. And the confession always takes place under torture. So you basically just need someone to say that they don't like the look of you, and that counts as witness testimony plus evidence of falling into heretical depravity, and that gets you tortured in Kramer land.
And that's it. It's just like you're done.
I'm not exaggerating. That is actually
that's
just
actually
how
happened.
it works.
That's actually how it works. Yeah, it's pretty fucking crazy. Yeah.
It's fucked. He's got this bit about so it's really important because Kramer does things by the book and he's not a loose cannon and he's very principled. Yeah, he's got a lot of sections on what makes a witness inadmissible. So they're an inadmissible witness if they harbour a mortal enmity towards you. And that's basically they want to kill you, or they hate you because you've killed someone close to them, or you've done something so terrible that they want to kill you. However, in another section, he says that all people harbour a mortal enmity towards witches, which to my mind would mean that anyone accusing anyone else of witchcraft can't be a witness. But Kramer just steamrolls over that. That's just a technicality, and I don't want quibbles getting in the way of burning witches. Having said that, he then has a longer section about how the trial of a suspected witch, and I say suspected quite loosely, so loosely in fact that it is synonymous with convicted witch, with certain witch. He says that all these trials should be brief and informal. And then, okay, so you're allowed to request an advocate to defend you if you've been accused of being a witch. And by this stage, you've been taken in. They basically just put up a sign in public saying, this person is accused of being a witch. They better show up to be tortured and imprisoned within 12 days. And if they don't show up within 12 days, then they're definitely a witch and they're going to get imprisoned and tortured. That's a pretty good incentive, isn't it? I mean, if you don't show up to get imprisoned and tortured, then you're gonna get fucking imprisoned and tortured.
You're gonna get tortured even worse, I assume.
The torture sounds the same either way. So either you get tortured voluntarily or involuntarily. So you've been taken in, and you're allowed to request a defense lawyer, basically. Because again, Kramer's an even-handed guy who's just interested in the truth of you being definitely a witch. But there's a really long section describing all the things that make it basically admissible for the judge, Kramer, to just reject the advocate for the suspected witch. And basically all of these things are putting up any sort of defense that slows down the process of burning this woman to death. It's like, no, mate, I don't want to hear any legalistic quibbles. I don't want to hear anything. Basically, all of his rules for being a good defense lawyer for the accused witch is that you're just not going to do anything for her.
Yeah,
basically, you're just going to tell her to confess.
That's what I want in my
That's
legal
your job.
defense. I want to just be thrown under the bus by my defense attorney. Yeah, he definitely did it.
You want him to make it worse for you. And it's also, as soon as you're taken in, he basically just says, yeah, everyone accused should be either imprisoned in prison. You know, if they're a serious risk of running away and you really think they're a dangerous witch, If you don't think they're so dangerous, they should be put in detention. They're not allowed to leave detention, mind you. But we're not going to imprison them as harshly. We're just going to imprison them instead of imprison them. So this part of the book was definitely the most disturbing because while he's talking about, okay, so you just imprison this person, you start waging psychological warfare on them. You get their friends and family to come in and start telling them to confess to being a witch. Can you imagine being in this situation? So you're some poor woman who's just been accused of witchcraft by someone who doesn't like you and knows that denouncing you to Kramer will definitely get you tortured. So you get brought in, you say that you're not a witch, and this guy goes, okay, that's definitely evidence of you being a witch, imprisons you, and then lines up your friends and family, because also if they don't start denouncing you, then they are suspected of witchcraft and will get fucking tortured. So they're coming in going, just confess to being a witch.
Please confess.
And you don't know what
please,
you've done,
confess.
what you've apparently done. But all the people in your life are telling you to confess. And then Kramer swoops in and starts torturing you. And while torturing you, tells you to admit to being a witch. And if you confess to witchcraft, then you're probably going to get burned to death. But if you deny it, Kramer says, oh, well, you're using a spell of silence on yourself. And that means you're a witch. It's just nightmarish.
Yeah, you're completely fucked in these circumstances.
You're fucked. You're completely fucked.
Yeah, there's no way out. It's just completely, it's a rigged system, rigged game. Look, you thought if you ever thought that maybe, hey, like sometimes a little bit of criminal justice reform would be nice in like a Western country, you haven't fucking seen miscarriages of justice until you've been to 15th century Germany. It's completely mental.
Here's a particularly disturbing quote. So he says that a really sure sign of the sorcery of silence is that when a witch doesn't cry when tortured, or if she does cry when she's tortured, she's faking crying because she's a witch. Which again, it's like people bursting into tears being tortured and told that they're witches. And Kramer's got the mental gymnastics at the ready so that he can just justify. He can tell himself he's doing the right thing. So he says, if the judge's aim is to investigate whether she is enveloped in the sorcery of silence, he should note whether she can cry when standing in his presence or being exposed to torture. The ancient accounts of trustworthy men and the teaching of our own experience have demonstrated that this is the most certain sign, so that even if she is urged and compelled with conjurations to cry, if she is a sorceress, she does not have this ability to shed tears. To be sure, she will emit plaintive sounds and attempt to dab her cheeks and eyes with spit, as if she were crying, and those present should pay close attention to this. So you've got fucking Kramer dislocating some innocent woman's shoulders, and she's crying and emitting plaintive sounds as he's doing so, and he's sitting there going, nah, she's lying. I bet she's not feeling this one bit. I'm doing the right thing. I will go to sleep
this guy
tonight.
Must have been, how do you even just look at another person going through that sort of distress and then just like mock it up to this? Man, this guy was on another planet.
This guy was so fucked in the head that he's come up with this elaborate mental gymnastics as to, it's even like when torturing someone, their obvious distress, he's come up with a way to say, oh, well, they're not actually feeling it. It's not actually hurting them. He's got this section, I've got another quote here where so Kramer he's MGTOW'd his mind into women can't feel pain and I'm not inflicting pain on them. But a problem is witches can inflict spells upon other people, such as empathy. So when they're in their prison cell with guards out the front, those guards, they don't have as strong wills as Kramer, and that could be a problem. And this wily woman could work her sorcery on them and convince them that maybe she's not a witch. Maybe just someone told Kramer that she was a witch, and he's just decided that that's definitely the case. So I quote, With God's permission, they can, especially at the time when they, and as an aside, they being the sorceresses, are being exposed to questioning under torture, affect people with sorcery by the working of the devil, sometimes through touch, sometimes through sight, or the hearing of words uttered by them. Through the teaching of experience, we know that certain sorceresses kept under detention in castles who kept importuning their castellans to allow them, upon the arrival of the judge or of the other authority in charge of them, just to direct their first glance at the judge before they were seen by him or the others. From this glance, they achieved the result that this judge or the others were so transformed in the loyalties of their hearts that they lost whatever courage, if any, they had. They would not presume to harass the sorceresses in any way, but let them go free. This is the true testimony of a man who has knowledge from experience, and would that they were not able to bring about such things! ! So he's basically complaining that they see some woman sobbing in her jail cell and go, you know what? Maybe we did the wrong thing and we should let her go. No, that's sorcery. Seeing another human being in intense distress and fear that not only has her life just been turned upside down, but that she's going to be burned to death over something that she doesn't even know that she did or what she did. That's not empathy, that's sorcery. He also has a bit more about the methods you should use when preparing someone for torture.
I didn't realize I hadn't unmuted myself. I made a very funny joke, about womanese just then.
Make the joke again.
Yeah. I said something to the effect of, yeah, but have you ever heard a woman speak womanese? It was funnier when I said it the first time to myself. In silence.
I bet Kramer had read Practical Female Psychology for the practical man. I bet he'd paid for all of Franco Seduction's online seduction courses. He had dumped at least $5,000 into Franco's bank account, learning the art of seduction and learning how to speak.
I bet Franco's a huge fan of this.
I think this book's dedicated to Franco.
To my boy Franco.
Franco's seduction. If people don't know what we're talking about, actually, listen to our episode on Practical Female Psychology for the Practical Man, and it might shed light on what we're talking about.
Fucking funny.
What was it? Was it subcommunication or something?
Yeah.
The concept that those three authors brought in, it was like, a woman might be telling you that she's not trying to mislead you and convince you to pay for everything that she wants to spend money on while having sex with Alpha Chad Megacock on the side. No. She might be saying that with her words, but she's subcommunicating the opposite. It's the same fucking mental gymnastics as this guy going, oh, well, if she doesn't confess to being a witch, then that's because she's a witch. And if she confesses to being a witch, then that's because she's a witch.
That's because she's a witch. Yeah, fucking hell. Yeah. Could you imagine the plight of women in that society? Like, fuck me.
Another quite much more disturbing part of this book was when he talks about how you prepare people for torture. Where he's like, okay, so because witches oftentimes will hide some sort of magical amulet in their hair to protect them from torture, you have to shave all the hair off their body, including from, he calls them, the secret places. Because despite the fact that he's so willing to he's willing to torture people, but he's not willing to utter the word vagina. So it's like you shave their pubic hair off as well. So it's like this is just sexual humiliation as well.
Yeah.
This guy's
truly
like
sick.
We're laughing about it. This guy's a fucking
another
monster.
Level of just like complete sicko. Yeah, pretty fucking crazy.
What makes it like even worse is in this part of the book, a lot of it is him giving these basically prepared speeches for the Inquisitor to say to the person he's torturing, or for the Inquisitor to say to secular authorities when he's handing this person over for execution. And in so many of them, just the faked self-righteousness is so sickening, because so ecclesiastical authorities can't send someone to death. That's for the dirty secular authorities to do. And in all of his proposed speeches to give, once you have, you've decided that someone's a witch well in advance, but once you've gone through the formalities of proving they're a witch, or proving that your
formalities,
supposition that they are a witch was correct, you hand him over to a court to sentence them to death. And in doing so, he always includes this line of, "Oh, we urge you to be as lenient as possible on this poor soul, for they are also a child of God." And it's like, mate, you want this person to be sentenced to death. Like you obviously want this person to be killed. Don't give me this shit.
You're woofing in the background.
Like, you are going to be at the burning with a hand stuffed crassly down your pants. 100%, if this guy were alive now, he would be watching live leak videos with a raging binder.
Jesus
He was
Christ. Jack,
one
you're
of
on
those
fire
people.
And I mean that in a very good way.
in the non-witchcraft
in the
sense.
not being burnt at the stake way.
What about, he's got that whole section where he's talking about, there are 3 types of suspicion. There's rash suspicion, probable suspicion, and violent suspicion. However, when it comes to suspicion of sorceresses, there is only moderate. So moderate suspicion is the lowest form of suspicion. Then there's vehement suspicion, and then violent suspicion.
Yeah.
And it's basically,
so you're fucked.
With any of these, you need to be tortured. And it's with the moderate suspicion, he's like, look, if we only lightly suspected them, we wouldn't need to torture them. But if they're moderately suspected, then you've got to torture them. It's like, there is no lower level than moderate suspicion. Oh, here we go. I found an example of the, basically just Kramer's crocodile tears at the thought of, someone might be hurt as a result of my Inquisition. This is what he proposes that an Inquisitor say
as a byproduct, an accidental byproduct.
Yeah, say to a secular authority once they've handed over someone convicted of sorcery, having, completely destroyed their shoulders with staccato, beaten them, shaved them, humiliated them. So he says, care should be taken that it is never stated in any sentence that the denounced person is innocent or blameless. Oh, wait, no. This is different. This is him. He has this section where he talks about, well, if they're found not guilty, what should you do? And he spends a really long time on this completely irrelevant detail because I just don't understand how he could find someone not guilty. But he says, care should be taken that it is never stated in any sentence that the denounced person is innocent or blameless, but only that nothing was proven legally against him. Because if he is again denounced afterwards in the course of time and the charge is then legally proven, he can be condemned regardless of the sentence that absolved him.
That's so fucking cooked.
So this is very practical, this part. So this is how you let someone off, but you leave the door open to burning them to death.
It's just the most ridiculous stuff.
I should add too, in this quote, he uses the neutral masculine form. So he says, care should be taken that the denounced person is innocent or blameless, but only that nothing was proven legally against him. But then, as the translator points out, he regularly just talks about she. So this guy had misogyny on the brain so much that even when he was transcribing quotes, sometimes he would just accidentally slip up and say she. Like, oh, damn it, whoops. I made it too obvious that this is directed against women.
I can't even really get my head around how much vehement hatred this person must have had for women. It's kind of insane. It's completely
really
nuts. It's like the most insane thing.
Yeah, the part of this book on sentencing was really boring because he just goes through basically every permutation of, okay, how bad was the heresy? How strong is the evidence against them? Are they repentant or not? Are they willing to come back into the church or not? Basically, best case scenario, you will be imprisoned for life, but you won't be excommunicated. And apart from that, you're getting burned.
Yeah. It's an efficient system. It's we're tough but fair.
It's high throughput.
Tough but fair. Tough but fair. That's what we believe
Tough
in.
love.
In 15th century Germany. Tough but fair.
And with the future state of nuclear Queensland, I think a judicial system inspired by Kramer would be a pretty good idea, actually.
Crypto nukes Queensland.
Crypto nukes Queensland plus an inquisitorial judiciary.
Inquisitors.
It's the sort of place where I want to live.
Plus Jack and Levi are Inquisitors.
All I'm saying is that I just feel like in Australia in 2023, we don't take witchcraft seriously enough.
I agree. 100%.
And you can see the harm that causes.
It causes people's dicks to fly.
It's plain to see. I mean,
what happens.
Do you think climate change would be happening if we didn't allow witches to operate in our midst? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Think about it.
I just think there's, those graphs where they show the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere compared to the global average temperature. Well, what they're not showing you is the number of witches compared to the global temperature. And let me tell you that those two lines are just perfectly coincide. And I reckon there's a reason why those two lines perfectly coincide and why they're not telling you that, why they're trying to hide this from you.
There are no coincidences.
It's because the globalist elite are all witches and they're causing climate change. And I don't know where this theory is going, but I blame witches for everything. It's their fault. What are some other things we don't like? Bitcoin price has gone down. Witches?
Witches?
That's witches. Definitely witches.
Yeah.
GPUs are still expensive. That's witches. I blame them. I think it's witches. I haven't upgraded for a while because of witches. Affecting the cost of microprocessors. What else is bad? There are just so many bad things in the world that I think are just because we're not burning enough witches.
Group, or the
Forest fires in Australia.
It's pretty bad. Forest fires, yeah. That's definitely
witches.
Witches.
Megafauna. We don't have megafauna anymore.
Oh, definitely witches.
Witches.
Witches every time.
Yeah, I'd say that's 100%. It's just classic sorceress behaviour.
Classic
to get rid of
sorceress.
The giant wombats.
The saucy sorceress getting rid of my wombies.
Yeah, fentanyl. Witches.
Fentanyl is the witches.
I'm pretty sure witches are making that.
Witches are making fentanyl. Yeah.
So, but as I'm sure people can hear, I don't have much else to say about this book.
It's completely batshit insane.
It took a really long time to read, and there's a huge amount of detail in this book. Don't get me wrong. I just don't want to talk about the detail because it's really boring and it won't make for a fun episode. It's saying something that even among the books we cover for this podcast, this is actually one of the more despicable works. Because
and it's
made
Catholic even more despicable by the
took
fact
a look at it and said, actually, we're not, this is not really what we're into. We don't support this. Apparently it was fairly popular among lay people, so I do think this book had an impact.
That's so fucked. That's so cooked.
So we've we said earlier that neither of us recommend this book. This is not worth reading. There's just no part of it that's
it's only worth reading
really
if
worth
you
going
just,
over.
Just obsessed with maybe if you're really into medieval history or something. That might be a situation.
But
if you're into that.
This is such a deep cut even in that context. There are so many things that if you were interested in medieval history, you would probably read before The Hammer of the Witches.
Yeah, probably.
I feel like Kramer's best work, called Hammer of the Witches, is really the Ringworm album called Hammer of the Witch. That's his best statement on this topic.
I think if you're like just, I don't know, what would you say? Like, if you just have a really facet curiosity with torture, you know, there's some people, not going to name names, but we've got some strange friends who have morbid fascinations with certain subreddits that keep on getting shut down. If you're one of those people, you know who you are. Then yeah, sure, maybe you'll like this book. But that's the only
The thing is, even the
market that
discussions of torture, though, are so... Like, there are so few of them compared to him saying, oh, let me list the 3 ways in which a demon can travel long distances in a short period of time. Which sounds like it'd be fun, but it's really boring.
Yeah, it's really boring. It's very legalistic.
What? Okay, so... Like, you were making an effort to think of situations in which you could recommend this to someone.
Yeah, well, I'm just trying to... be as generous as I can.
I mean, you can
for
find
the
a
Hammer of
PDF
the
online
Witches.
for free, no problem. If you want a feeling of what reading this book's like, if you're really that interested, just get a free PDF from LibGen or something. I mean, buy a legal copy of this book and...
Surely it's way out of, like... Isn't it literally hundreds of years out of copyright?
Yeah, but...
Just smash yourself in the face. That's what it's like. That's what it's like to read this fucking book.
Yes.
And then burn
Just
some witches.
read the Bible and...
But
read
only
the Bible
read
and a
Deuteronomy.
bunch of laws from whichever country you live in at the same time. And that's kind of what it's like. While
And then
listening
just-
to Andrew Tate in the background.
and listen
Those
to some,
3
like,
things
death metal,
mashed together
torture some people.
is the Malleus Maleficarum.
Maybe it's up there with... It's definitely one of the worst books we've read, I would say.
Yeah, this was one of the least fun things to read. This was the beginning was the end level for me. And beginning was the end is, I think, my most hated book I've read for this podcast.
You go into something called The Witch Hammer and you think, oh, this is going to be fucking hectic.
This will be good.
And then it's not.
No. What else do we have to say? Oh, we've got a Patreon. People should pay us money.
Listen,
People should
you
pay
guys,
us money for reading The Hammer of the Witches.
If you want Jack and me not to starve to death, then you need to start paying up for this juicy content. And what are we going to give you in return? What are we going to give you in return? I don't know if I can check out the Patreon.
We've got. Yeah, man, I should check too. We've
got some
You
shit.
can ask
We're
us
going to be beefing it up.
questions.
We're going to do some shit.
Yeah.
Ask us questions.
You can
Get some more-
you can write
we'll
stuff
pick
and
something up.
submit it to us, and we'll cover it. That's one of the tiers.
Ooh, I like that
You
one.
can. Yeah, you can submit us questions that we'll answer in an episode, I think is one of the tiers. Look, I just want to say, we've got a tier
Basic
for
Patreon
$60,000 a month, and you get nothing for it, but that's the best one. I'm not joking. We've got the 60K tier. That's the best tier by far. That's the really good one.
You should buy that one. Everyone should buy that one.
Everyone should buy that one. I actually don't think there are any benefits to that tier. I don't think I put any benefits on that
You
one.
get the benefit of $60,000 worth of warm fuzzy feelings having supported Jack and Levi.
Okay, so it is widely known that it's better to give than to receive. And I think everyone would be pretty happy receiving $60,000, right? Well, what's
Yeah.
better than receiving $60,000? Well,
Ergo.
giving $60,000, that's... That,
So really,
I mean,
we're doing you a favor when you think about
I'm all
it.
about delivering value. Anyone who's heard me
Value
speak
for
knows
value.
that. And Levi's
Value
the
for
same.
value.
We are all about
Yeah.
delivering value. And
I don't deliver anything except value. That's all I deliver. I'm like the goddess of value.
Exactly. Goddess of value. And, okay, so giving us $60,000 is
fucking
even better value than if we gave you $60,000. Just think
Least
about
twice
that
as
for a
good.
second. Think
At
about
least
that
twice as
while
good.
you're putting your credit card details into Patreon and going, yeah, I reckon 12 times a year I'm going to send Jack and Lee $60,000 US. This is a really good deal, and you should definitely go
very
into
good
debt
idea.
for it.
Take out a mortgage on your home,
look,
take out a second home loan, and buy Jack and Levi $60,000 worth of Bitcoin.
I'd be really impressed if anyone was able to pick your Michael Saylor impression.
Yeah, I know. I need to improve my Michael Saylor impression.
I know who that is.
Gotcha. Fucking Sailor. Crazy motherfucker.
Anyway, that's the best. If you're not as interested in value, there are cheaper
If you're a
tiers
socialist,
for our Patreon.
if you're a socialist, then yeah, sure. Don't give us $60,000.
But if you're really interested in value,
you believe in freedom,
self-improvement, in freedom, in
the values
what can we
of
offer?
the West.
If you're interested in inequality, if you're interested
in inequality by making us $60,000 richer than you, then
if you basically just think about whatever you like, and that's what you'll get.
Yeah.
For the $60,000 tier.
You like an Inquisition? You want an Inquisition? We'll give you a fucking Inquisition. We'll
give you an
the
Inquisition.
shit out of whoever you want us to Inquisition.
We can do it to you if you want.
we can Inquisition
for $60,000. we will come to your house
and we will stand at the tip of your
until you
penis
confess to being a witch.
Demon zap your cum away. We will take your cum. We'll steal your cum.
I do a lot of things for $60,000.
I do horrible things for $60,000. Unspeakable things.
Unless it would make for a good episode, and then we'll talk about it at length.
And girth. Had to. Too easy. Had to. It was a layup. Fucking layup.
This is the level of quality people expect from us.
And this is how we're going to take off. This is next level.
Exactly. All we need is for Peter Thiel to come across this podcast and go, you know what? These guys need some money.
Here's $10 million.
I know you're listening,
Fund.
Peter.
It just blows us up.
Founders Fund.
Gets behind us. Fuck yeah, Peter.
It's
fuck yeah.
Y Combinator are interested, I hear. We're about to get some funding from Y Combinator to expand the podcast. Sam Altman's very interested.
It's like feeding.
We've been hired to consult on GPT-5.
Feeding GPT-5.
GPT-5 is going to be trained exclusively on transcripts of these episodes.
Of this episode and books that we tell it to read.
To only this episode, so look forward to that. Look forward to telling
like hermetically sealed
get on our
universe of this
Patreon in
AI's
response to every
data
question.
is Jack and Levi. Complete fucking insanity.
The Chinese military, actually, that's another backer. They've put quite a lot of money into
the
this
People's
podcast.
Liberation Army getting around us.
Yeah, People's Liberation Army. Our DARPA funding, actually, we needed to sort out some things.
It was one of those rare
with
projects.
Joe Biden personally, because we've also got quite a bit of funding from
one
DARPA,
of those
and that conflicted a bit with the PLA funding.
No.
But we got together with some shadowy agents of the deep state. We took some weed gummies. We watched the new Top Gun together. We hugged it out. That's smoothed over. Daniel Andrews sent us money personally. That wasn't for anything in particular. He's just a big fan. He sent us some money. So good on you, Dan. Thanks, mate.
Dan the man.
Do you have anything else? Do you have anything else of substance to say in this episode?
Oh, why don't we just talk about the future of the podcast? What do you reckon?
Let's talk about the future of the podcast.
Yeah, so basically Jack and I would like to try to leverage this thing into being able to do stuff full time on the internet, obviously. So we're doing some stuff.
That would be the dream.
If
we could make a living talking shit, that would be absolutely
talking
unreal.
Shit, reading weird books, talking with other people who are interested in this stuff, and for me making software and stuff. So we've got a Discord. That's been an interesting experiment. There's really cool interesting vibe on that. There's lots of weird perspectives and memes and stuff. That's cool. And
shout out to San Marzano. Or was it San Marzano supremacist?
We're going to experiment with creating an app for the community that'll integrate with the Discord. We've got the Patreon. So we're going to put out some feelers there to see what we can provide above and beyond the podcast content itself to augment this community. So I guess like talking about the future of the podcast, if you guys would like to participate in shaping what that looks like, the easiest way to get in touch with us is to join the Discord, and Jack and I, like you can DM us directly, or obviously like just jump in the channels, and yeah, like help us shape what's the future of how this could be better for all you weirdos out there who want to like explore the infinite idea space of humans.
You could do it on the Discord, because that way,
that'd be
any
really
new
helpful.
member of the Discord, there is a 100% chance that either the users Trent or your old memes will start arguing with you.
So good. So fucking good.
It's not one, it's the other. Yeah. In terms of those things too, I think a bookstore for this podcast would make a lot of sense. And I'm talking to a few online booksellers to see if we can get an affiliate deal going. The problem is the sort of books we cover on the podcast.
Yeah.
And the sort of books people are liable to order with their affiliate links. I think a bunch of online booksellers don't want to necessarily.
Yeah, look, we've not chosen the easiest path to monetization, but I think that's okay. I think when we figure it out, we'll figure it out in a way that'll mean that we can keep it authentic to like what we've created and the people who are like interested in this, and not compromise. I mean, it'd be better to do that faster and sooner than later. But
well, I mean, if we go into, well, suppose we got some income stream that would require us to not cover extreme books. Well, then there's no real point to having this podcast. Like, it needs to be something that allows us to continue.
That's literally the entire
talking about fascism or the Inquisition or misandry.
Yeah, we basically, like, I thought about it this way. I know this is maybe rather selfish of me to think about it like this, but I thought, like, well, what if I could just, because financial freedom is one thing, like being able to have business online and stuff, that's really cool. But then I thought, what's the use of having financial freedom if you don't have freedom of thought? Freedom of speech. Like, I want to, like, read whatever I want, and that sort of stuff. So if we have a revenue model that compromises that, then that sort of like defeats a huge pillar of like kind of the ethos.
Yeah. So we'll keep trying.
I'm sure we'll get
talking to various online booksellers to see if we can make a bit of money from our listeners buying Evelyn or something.
The witch hammer. Fucking witch hammer. Far out.
Purchases of the Hammer of the Witches on Amazon go up by 6,000% as the result of this episode.
I mean, the thing is, like, it could take a long time, but like, I do think that this, like, people underestimate how big this potential niche is. We're basically saying, like, there's a whole bunch of people out there that are really interested in really, really strange ideas. And I just think that's like a perfectly reasonable conjecture. I think the fact that we've got all these people joining the Discord,
yeah, well, like clearly so do I.
In like corroborating evidence. Just taking a while. Just takes a while. Support us. Fucking get around your boys. Get around your boys.
$60,000 tier on Patreon.
We can Findom. If you're into it, I'll Findom you. I mean, I don't want to like sign Jack up to anything, but like I'll Findom you. I'll Findom the shit out of you.
You fucking bet. Those new RTX 40 series graphics cards. I mean, the number of janky stalker mods, poorly optimized stalker mods I could be running on one of those bad boys. I'll buy 2 of them if you want me to. I mean, so long as it's your money. I'm not going to pay for them. They're too expensive. I could Findom the shit out of you.
You heard it here first, Jack. Heard it here first, guys. Jack is going to Findom all of you. All of you. Findom the shit out of you.
That's what Patreon is. The Patreon is actually a way for me to fulfill my very specific sexual fetish of having strangers on the internet pay me for reading weird books. That's the only way I can get it up anymore. It's a curse.
That's so fucking cooked. You're ridiculous.
I'm all about authenticity. That's why I'm laying my cards on the table. Yeah. That's why we started the Patreon. Okay. Anything else? What are we reading next, actually?
I was going to propose.
I'm currently reading Crash by J.G. Ballard, and that'll be a solo episode. And I expect you to dislike that book, but it's actually a phenomenal book.
Oh, really? Yeah, right. Interesting.
It's beautifully written and actually is making a very deep point. And at the same time, it's about people who are sexually excited by crashing cars. It's a whirlwind of emotions.
Yeah, interesting. Huh. Fascinating. No, I would like to read Democracy, the God That Failed. That's like, there's this Austrian economist, Hopper. Gustav Hopper or something Hopper. And all these crypto freaks, Bitcoiners, are like, yeah, fucking Democracy, the God That Failed. And it's basically like, you know, like Yavin, who's into the crypto monarchy stuff. All of those guys are like, yeah, democracy sucks. We just want crypto and like a king. They all reference this book. So I fucking love Bitcoin, but I'm not convinced that we need a crypto monarchy. So that's my proposition.
What are you, a central bank cuckold?
No, I think that we should just have a full autocracy. Crypto nuke autocracy set, like ruled by Jack and Levi.
Yeah.
Eternity. Yeah, so that would be my proposal. The other ones are, we could, because the other one that we've got on our list is A Modern Man in Search of the Soul by
by
Carl
Jung. That'll be interesting.
And I think that'll be an interesting but really hard book. So I thought we could maybe do...
yes.
We could maybe do... Democracy, the God That Failed.
No, okay.
Might be a bit
you
easier.
were the fucking one who wanted to do... Oh, what was the name of it? I had to talk you down into reading Modern Man in Search of the Soul. You wanted to read some like 800-page tome by Jung.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the Red Book. Yeah, that's like 800 pages. Yeah.
That was the one you were pushing for.
Yeah, so I take that back now. Yeah, no. Let's just start off with the 300-400 page one.
What else is in the pipeline? Next weekend, actually, I'll probably be recording an episode with Ed on The Camp of the Saints by Jean Raspail, which is just flat out white nationalism. It's not like The Age or New York Times accusing people of white nationalism. That this is a fiction book which is just advocating for a white France.
Yeah, right.
So you can look forward to that one.
I wonder when these ideas will ever go away. I mean, how long were they doing witch trials for? Like hundreds of years, right?
They make a comeback every now and then.
Yeah, occasionally you'll hear about like some witch trials in like some random part of Africa or something. You're like, what the fuck? Yeah. To be fair, we do need to get rid of these witches.
We should read The Sovereign Individual sometime. Well, I mean, you've read it, but I should read it. We should do an episode on it because I think that'd be a very good book for this podcast.
Yeah, well, we could read that first before Democracy, the God That Failed.
Yeah, let's do that. Because Sovereign Individual seems like the sort of book which has intellectual content. It's quite different to the mainstream consensus on how society should be run. And it's quite influential.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. I like it.
Yeah, well, I've got a copy of it because Levi sent me a copy of The Sovereign Individual because he liked it.
I fucking love that shit.
Yeah, so I've got it behind me, actually. Yeah, so we should read that one.
So good. Yeah, I still listen to it. I mean, I have my reservations or criticisms of it, but I think like directionally, it's pretty spot on.
Yeah, I look forward to reading that book.
Excellent. All right, well, we should... This is still just the postscript. Thanks for listening, motherfuckers.
Thank you for listening. See you next time.
See ya.